All right, everybody, thanks for coming out for Launch Your Year, the second version, as we had one this morning as well. But there's a lot of energy in the room tonight, and I'm excited about that. And we're going to cover things just really locking in on the year and getting excited about what we've got going on. If you've got your 90-day plan, your journal, go ahead and make sure that you got that out. If not, just get you some sheets of paper. There's going to be two different sets of tools used tonight. One's the 90-day journal that everybody should have already. And if not, I'll be sending out an email that'll allow you to download that again. And it was in every one of these updates for the webinar. And then secondly, if you're already part of Launch Your Year, you've already paid $20 and you're in, and you're going to see another set, an additional set of resources that we're going to be using tonight as well. If you don't have those, and you don't have them yet, it's no big deal. You can get those later on, and you can also just draw them out. If you've got some blank sheets of paper in front of you, draw them out. It's no big deal. What I like is having them from the standpoint of I can print them out, I can run them off, and you'll see what that really means through the course of tonight. But as we begin, I want you to talk about your wins. From 2014, how did you win in the past year? We often think about the year and say, well, I didn't accomplish as much as I wanted to, and we kind of have this down feeling. But I want us to start out by sharing our wins. So in the Q&A box, type in some things that allowed you to really register that win this year. It can be anything that you want. This morning we had folks talking about books they'd written, and we had folks talking about remodeling their home. So it can be anything that is categorized as a win for you. So just type that in. Created 32 software products is what Jerome says. Nancy says, stepped away from a partnership that opened up time for new clients. I love that. Kelly says, the biggest month ever in affiliate marketing. Love it. Did my first product sale through JV Zoo. Congratulations, Bonnie. Upgraded my stock system. This is from Linda. Fantastic. MJ says, I got a real business going. Kathy says, I found a couple of big clients through Craigslist to my surprise. Rachel says, I enrolled in school. Kathleen, developed new life skills. Anita, transformed from inside out and doubled my income. Congratulations, Anita. Marv says, awarded a contract that helped us catch up. Shelly says, got published in a print magazine and also said no to something big. Raspel says, teamed up with writers and started collaborating. Bob wrote an ebook, The Art of Making Tiny Saddles. And I love that, Bob. I love your work in that particular market and niche. Marty says, found a new direction in life. TJ, I can free my time up for my family more. Shelly wrote and published my first book. Linda got a new website. Trevor finished a book, now getting ready to edit. John started working the seminar circuit. Bill booked 71 library shows last summer, up from 42. Lisa took certification classes. Terry, I finally created some stores on a few sites that were sitting empty. Carl created a music product that sold a few copies. Ralph became part of the Nicheology Club level. Thank you. To learn the road to success. All right, a lot of stuff, guys. Thank you. You can quit typing now. A lot of things. I wasn't able to get to all of those, but what I wanted us to start with is to say, oh, I've got some wins. I've done some good things. I've accomplished some things. I've achieved some things. I hate it when we're always beating ourselves up and acting like we've not done anything. You have done stuff. So I want you to begin 2015 by remembering the good stuff from 2014. Now, we can't just live there, right? So we've also got to look at some other areas. What was close? What was close for you? You don't have to type these in. The next two you don't have to type in, but I want you to think about it. What did you get close to? What did you almost achieve? Every year for me, it's like physically and fitness and health. I tend to get close and then I back up, and I tend to get close and I back up. John Acuff had an article this week where he said, I'm sick of losing the same 30 pounds over and over and over again. You know what? Well, I get close and then I backslide and I get close and backslide. And I think we all have those areas. And then we also have some areas where we just blew it. We blew it. We had good intentions. We felt like this was going to be a breakthrough year in this particular area. And then we got slammed. It just didn't work. We didn't have the breakthrough that we really wanted to have and what we expected to have. And so I want you to think as well about the areas that you blew it in, and maybe you need to refocus on that area, or maybe you need to just shut it down all the way. It's cool if you do. It's no big deal. What I want us to be thinking about is especially those successes and what we got close to, and maybe that's where we're going to pull even some extra goals. So as we launch our year, think about the past 12 months. or in the future 12 months, where you want to be in 12 months, where you are now, and then where the gap is. So income wise, let's say in 12 months, you want to be at 6 figures, and right now you're at 50K. So the gap is $50,000. Body weight, let's say I weigh 200 and I want to weigh 160 in 12 months. Well, I've got a 40-pound gap. In a relationship, let's say that it's not going well, struggling, needs either updating or upgrading. And in 12 months, I want to be in love and I want it to be passionate. And right now, it's non existent and it's stale. Well, I've got a massive gap on that one. It's pretty hard to measure, but I know that there's a lot of work. And then with days off, how many do I want to take off? How much free time do I want to have in 12 months? Maybe right now I'm getting 2 weeks of vacation a year, but if I plan my weekends correctly, I can gain up to like 7 additional days. So I've got a gap of 7 days. Or maybe I want to write a book. And in 12 months, I want to write one. I've never written one before. And so right now I've got a goose egg and my gap is from 0 all the way to, let's say, 300 pages. So the key element is to think about that gap. And what I want you to do is to think about it in a little bit of a different way than we normally think of. So let me see if this is working. That should have come up on the screen. Just type yes if you're able to see my iPad screen right there. Type yes if that's showing up. All right, cool. Thank you. That's good. Just needed that verification. All right, so I'm here in 53 paper. And so I want you to think about the gap. From where you are to where you want to be. And in that gap, what I want you to consider is I want you to consider how difficult that's going to be. So let's say that I'm at that 50K level and I want to be at 100K. Based on my background, my experience, my ability, my skill set, my talent, my time, my effort, things that I can contribute, how hard is it going to be to get there? And this is going to be different for everybody. Everybody would answer this differently. Some of you are familiar with my work with 5 Stones, and that's actually part of Launch Your Year if you decide to get the whole package. But what I love to do is rate things. I'm a level guy. Like people will ask me what level I'm at on a particular day. I tend to live around level 8. If I hit level 10, then I'm just obnoxious. Nobody wants to be around me, and I don't want to be around myself. But for the most part, if I'm functioning around level 8, I feel pretty good. But with my 5 stones, I use 5 levels or 5 stones to really determine where I am and what it's going to take. So let's say that given my background, my skill set, and what I'm able to accomplish, I look at it and say, you know what? 50 to 100K, I've done that before and I know how to do it again. And so maybe it's just 1 stone for me. It's not difficult at all. It's just 1 stone. But let's say that I've never done it, ever. I've got no experience with it. It's going to be 5 stones. It's going to be hard because I don't know what I'm up against. I don't know what's going to happen along this path right here. I don't know what's going to happen here. I've not experienced it before. I've not done it before. What's going to happen here? Suddenly it shifts, right? This is a huge, speaking of gaps, this is a huge gap in the entire industry of goal setting, is that we rarely rank the level of difficulty. We think, I'm just going to set a goal, I'm going to follow a plan, and it's going to work. It doesn't work that way because we don't always know what we're up against and we don't always know how hard something is. And so once we figure that out, then finally we'll be able to move forward. So let me use an example of body weight. This is years ago, like 25 years ago, I competed in bodybuilding and powerlifting. So I know how my body reacts to food and to exercise and how it reacts to things it hates like running. But I do know what it would take to drop 40 pounds. And I know how fast I could do it. I know how accurately I could do it. I know what exercises I need to do. I know how much I need to run. I know exactly what I need to eat. Here's the challenge, though, is that even with all of that, I would still have to do the work, but it would be easier for me to predict. But let's say this is the first time in my life I've lost 40 pounds and I've never worked out and I've not run at all. My best forecasting is a guess. because I don't really understand the gap. I'm not able to get there. So that's one of the things that we've got to be thinking about is just how difficult our goals are. So any goal that we set, there are three major problems that we're going to come up against if we're not careful. Number one is we're going to get distracted. Sometimes we'll call this, the shiny object syndrome, but I don't know if it's always the shiny object. Sometimes it's just life. We just get distracted. There's another opportunity. There's another weight loss program. There's another money-making program. There's another relationship program. There's another job program. There's all these new programs that are coming out all of the time that can draw us, and it's easy to get distracted in the middle of simply trying to pursue a goal. So we've got to be aware of that. Secondly, it can often lead to us being derailed and we just get off track. Often this is not intentional. It may be that there's an emergency, something came up that was unforeseen, and we just tend to get off track a little bit. I just decide that I'm not going to run for 2 or 3 days just because I can't. We talked about this extensively this morning when somebody asked a question toward the end of what do you do when you get derailed? What if an emergency comes up? And I say that I use a reactive process or reminder process, and I'll set a date. So let's say that emergency came up and I know that I'm going to be out for about a week. The next Monday, I would set an alarm within my calendar to remind me it's time to recalibrate. It's time to get back on track. I'd actually write a note. Paul, you gave yourself a week off. It's time to get back on it, man. Quit being lazy. Quit using excuses. Quit chalking it up to it's okay to be out because you've got this emergency. The emergency's over and it's time for you to focus. So I'll use that to really get back on it. So we got to be careful of just getting derailed, because once we get out of a pattern, once we stop doing whatever the goal was, let's say that I'm going to write this book and I'm going to do it in a year and I've got to write 500 words a day and I don't do it. What happens if I don't do that, I don't pursue that, and I don't do it every single day? I take some time off, I get derailed. And then finally, I get disappointed. And I feel bad about myself. I feel bad about what's going on in life. I feel bad that I'm not pursuing it the way that I promised myself I would. I feel bad that I told all my friends and family what all I was going to do, and they're pointing out that I've not done it. I feel bad that I'm not being true to the goal. So I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in myself most of all. That's usually what happens. I don't know about with you, but usually that's what happens to me. So out of those three, when it comes to disappointment or being derailed or being distracted, which one tends to hit you the most? Which one do you tend to find is the one that gets you off track the most? Is it being distracted? Is it being derailed where you just kind of have a pattern of stopping? Or is it getting discouraged? Okay, we've got distracted, derailed, derailed into disappointment, derailed, distracted, derailed, all three. Thank you, Cynthia. Distracted, all three, distracted and derailed. Look at all of these. So all of that is, that just shows that we're all in that together. We're all in that same format and that same alignment, right? So I know that that's the way that it comes down to us getting off track. And you know that too. So all three of those are critical. So what we want is that we want 5 hot principles. I'm going to hit these real quick and then we're going to go deep with them. Number 1 is that we've got to have purpose. This is going to be your overall vision, your overall desire for the year. Number 2 is to preload the year. We've got to preload it and make sure that we've got everything on the schedule. And I'm not just talking about goals. I'm talking about life. And we're going to look at this in detail to preload your year, to get your calendar set. Because you cannot set accurate goals if you don't know how much time you have to pursue them. You can't sit down and say, you know what, I'm going to run every day of the year. And then you realize that 6 of the weeks of the year, you're going to be on top of a mountain somewhere meditating. You're just not going to be able to do it, right? You got to preload your year first to know what's going on. 3, you got to have your priority. This is really the 90 days. This is our 90-day focus. Number 4 is pursuit. This is what you're going to be doing every week primarily. And then number 5 is your pulse. And this is what you're going to do every single day. So number 1 is purpose. What do you need to be, and what do you need to have done to be delighted to meet yourself in 12 months' time? What do you need to be, and what do you need to have done to be delighted to meet yourself in 12 months' time? I'm going to give you about a minute to think about that. You don't have to type in the answer. I just want you to dwell on that a second. In fact, if you've got your journal, then you can write it right there. All right. This is a big question. That's why I got quiet on it. We don't tend to do this with our goals. We tend to just sit down and think what we want to do and what we want to accomplish, but we don't sit there and think, who do I really need to be? And what do I really need to have done to be delighted to meet me in 12 months? If you were being introduced to yourself in 12 months, would you want to be introduced as an author? Would you want to be introduced as a millionaire? Would you want to be introduced as the king of lean or the queen of lean? Would you want to be introduced as the best husband or the best spouse? How would you want to be introduced to yourself? What would thrill you? If you look at the end of 2015 and you look back, wow, how thrilled are you going to be if you meet yourself? If you're like, wow, super glad to meet that person. That was unbelievable. That was pretty awesome. That was pretty wild. You know, I want to get to know him or her better. These are the types of goals that we need to be setting. Not simply setting an income goal, not simply setting a personal goal or desire, but setting a transformational goal, an altered goal, a make a difference goal. The way that's going to happen is that we make progress through that destination of knowing who we want to become and what we need to have done to be thrilled to meet ourselves or delighted to meet ourselves. And that creates conviction because we know that we want to become that type of person and accomplish those types of things. Then we take on the responsibility and we know that it's up to us to actually do it. If this is going to happen, we've got to do it. And that creates energy and synergy because now we've got the destination in mind, we've got the responsibility in mind, and we start collaborating. We start looking around and saying, who's going to help me reach this? What do I need to learn? What I need to tap into? What friendships do I need to make? What courses do I need to take? How much time is this going to involve? And we have this collaboration of what is critical to take on this particular goal. And we start to gain momentum. And certainly this creates movement or action, and we begin to see progress. And things shift and things change. Now, it doesn't mean that everything changes overnight, but over time, we're able to see that difference and feel the difference and notice the difference. Now, becoming this person or reaching this goal or gaining this dream all begins when we preload our year. And we're going to do that by tapping in to what's critical. So are you going to be looking at the wheel of life? If you look at this in the journal, there's career, money, health, family, romance, personal growth, recreation, physical, environment. Now, which one of those do you need? Which one of those are the things that you're going to pursue? You don't have to pursue all of them if you don't want to. And the cool thing about the journal is this is page 6. I think on page 7, it's where it's editable. You can go in, and if you have Adobe, you just type in your own word. Maybe you're already healthy and you just don't even need to focus that on that anymore. And you decide that you're going to make another goal right in that area, maybe an educational goal. So just add that in and put it in. But all of that's got to be planned and it's got to be set. You've probably everybody here has heard the illustration about the jar. and there's a jar, and then there's stones, big stones, and there's some smaller stones, and there's some sand. And the point is, if you start with the sand, there won't be room for the middle-sized stones or the pebbles, and there won't be room for the rocks. If you put the pebbles in first, the sand will still fit, but the big rocks aren't going to fit. In order to really make everything get into this jar, you got to start with the stones, and then you put in the pebbles, and then you put into the sand. And in some illustrations, they then pour water over it so it's totally full. But that's the only way that it fits, is when you start with the big things and you work down to the smaller things. So as you launch your year, I want you to be thinking about your theme for the year, your vision for the year, what you want to become. Your 12 months look is your goals. These are the things that you want to attain. Now, everything may not be 12 months. I do a lot of 90 days, a lot of 90-day projects, but some things may go the full year. 90 days for me are projects. These are things that I want to focus on. These are things that I want to really give my time and my energy and my effort. I tend to do 90 days pretty well. I don't always tend to do a year real well. It's hard to stay focused for a year. And then runway is there at the bottom, and that's what I'm doing this week. This week's activities, this week's actions. So begin with the big rocks. In 2014, what were your big three? You know, we had a lot of lists a while ago. The big three that you used or accomplished, the three big ideas and concepts that really ruled your life for this year. And maybe you've only just got one, and that's cool. You don't have to have three, but there's space for three. So what do you want to be your big three in 2015? Things that must happen. Every goal doesn't need to happen. Every goal does not have to happen. But if you were to have three things this year that you felt like you must attain or the year is incomplete, that you're going to be disappointed. Maybe you'll even be sad. So you write those things down. These are your big rocks. I have at the bottom learning and earning. Learning for me is that educational time, which I think almost every area requires. We don't become better relationally just by experimenting. We want to read what other people have already done, what they've accomplished, and what's worked. And so we follow after that. It's the same way in goal setting. You know, you guys are here, you've taken other goal setting programs, you're learning. But then over to the right-hand side, we want to write down, what's my earning? What am I going to be doing? What's my commitment level? Because it's not just going to happen. Earl Nightingale in Lead the Field says too many people want to sit in front of the fire and say, give me some heat, and then I'll put in the wood. You know, it doesn't work that way, right? We put in the wood, the heat comes from the fire. We've got to earn this. So learning on the left-hand side, I would say, what is it that you feel like you need to learn, you're going to invest in? Could be books, could be courses. And on the right-hand side, you're earning. How committed are you to these areas? Where are you willing to pursue it to the ends of the earth? Or if you look at it and say, you know what, I don't really want to earn it. I kind of just want it to happen. So you write down your earnings so that you can totally focus on what's essential. And then your pebbles, your vacation, your events, if you're part of a mastermind group, if you're part of a club, if you're part of an association that takes you away several days a year, then you want to put that in. And then the deliverables are really the dates. What are your vacation dates? What are your event dates? What are your mastermind dates? And this is pretty broad. So you can take this and decide which one of these are going to be true for you. Like if you are an athlete and you're going to run like 4 marathons a year, well, that's going to be part of your pebbles, might even be part of your big stones, might be part of your rocks. You may decide that, you know what, I've got to make sure that all this is down. This is unalterable. So you put those dates down and make sure that you have them in place. Your vacation, your events, mastermind, you get to decide what these are. But in general, you'll probably have 6 solid components a year. Most people either have 1 or 2 vacations, they do 2 or 3 events a year, or they do 2 or 3 mastermind meetings, club meetings, associating meetings, something along those lines. And then sand. I've got this broken down into professional and personal. Again, you can make your own list, but this is the list that I use: learning and development, planning days, and team training. Like, I know that every Sunday is a planning day for me. It's unalterable. I do that every single Sunday night. That's part of my planning for the week. And so I'm going to schedule that. Now, personal, family events, Friends, birthdays, isn't it amazing how they happen on the same day every single year? We can schedule that. Hobbies. Yeah, I used to play a ton of golf. I don't as much anymore, and so I actually have to schedule it just to remember to get out there. And that's crazy. Personal care, other. These are things that have to go down and have to be scheduled. Otherwise, these are the things that interrupt our process toward the goal. I mean, imagine if you don't have things dated and you don't have it scheduled and you plan a special getaway riding retreat and it turns out to be, somebody close to you, it turns out to be their birthday and it's a special number and suddenly you have to cancel your retreat. You wouldn't have had to have done that if you had planned ahead of time, if you had preloaded your year. And then a snapshot of the year. And the way that I use this is that everything that I'm going to do daily, I put in column 1. Like every day, I'm going to do some exercise. Every day, I'm going to write. Every day, I'm going to do X. Then what is it that I do once a week? Well, once a week, I plan. And once a week, I review. See, it doesn't go in the daily column. It goes in the weekly column. What do you do, or what do I do every month? Just one time a month. Do you have certain elements, certain things that take place one time a month? And then quarterly, do you have anything that takes place once a quarter? Like I'm part of a mastermind group and we meet every quarter. But it doesn't go under daily, it doesn't go under weekly, it doesn't go under monthly, it goes under quarterly. And then yearly. Is there anything that you do that happens just once a year? This could be a big event. It could be a get-together with friends that you do every single year. But you want to have this snapshot so that you see what you're doing every day, what happens once a week, what happens once a month, what happens once a quarter, and what happens once a year. Then you take all of that and you put it in the calendar. You go ahead and schedule all of it. You put all of it in there and you load it up. I like to use a wall calendar like this. It's pretty enormous. So I take all of my big stones, I take my pebbles, and I take my sand, and I preload the entire year. That way, when I'm working on my goals, I can't be so naive to think that if I've got something that I'm supposed to do every single day of the year, I can't be so naive to think that nothing's ever going to interrupt that. It's silly to think that I'm going to plan my year out all around me. There's other people in my life. There's other people in your life. We have to be aware of not just our life when planning the goals. We've got to be aware of the lives of other people, our friends, our family, our associates, our colleagues, our coworkers. All of those play a role. And we can't plan for our goals effectively if we aren't very clear on our entire year. Then number 3 is priority. This is where we really get in and start focusing in on what we want to do in the next 90 days. Maybe it's going to be 2 months, maybe it's going to be a month. I tend to do pretty well with a 90-day focus. And so you want to map all of that out. Now, you don't have to use these precise topics of health, family, romance, personal growth. These are just options there in the journal. You can take those and put in anything that you want. But I would encourage you for every week to write down what you need to accomplish that week. What's the target? So let's say that I'm writing a book. Well, week 1, I may want to come up with the title and the subtitle. I might want to make sure that I've got a super clear outline, and I may want to begin writing the introduction. And that's what I'm going to do in week 1. So I put all of those down. It'd be super easy for me to put that in just a super small block. Now we're going to expand that a little later on, but to begin with, what we want to do is focus on the essentials. So you take your 90-day action plan and you'll sit down and you put down what you're going to do each week. Now, word of caution. If you've not done this before, if you've not pursued this particular goal, then these are merely estimates, and along the way, we've got to decide if there needs to be an adjustment. So let's say that my goal is 500 words a day, 5 days a week. And in week 2, that's what I'm focusing on. And so I write 500 words a day, or at least I want to, and I get to the end of week 2 and I find out that I actually wrote a total of not 2,500 words, but I wrote a total of 2,000 words. So I think about that and go, maybe I could push myself harder and it's going to work out better. And so in week 3, I feel like I really pushed it, but I'm still at 2,000 words or maybe 2,100. Well, guess what? I probably need to make a little bit of an adjustment. Instead of forcing myself to go to 2,500 because I didn't know if I could do it or not anyway, the evidence shows that I'm closer to 2,000 or 2,100. And so that's where I need to recalibrate and make some adjustments. Pursuing goals is not all about it happening just like we planned. It doesn't happen just like we planned. In fact, we have all kinds of things that we come up against. And 5 stones, the 4th stone is called tombstones. Those are the things that can kill us. I tell people you need to make a killer list and a list killer. So if I'm going out to run, my killer list is that chances are that in any given time, there's going to be bad weather. It's going to be raining. It's going to be cold if it's during the winter. That's gonna hurt me. I'm a little bit older now, not old, older. And guess what? I get sore. I'm like, what happened to me? Why am I feeling this? What just popped? And obviously, there's my love of bacon. I actually can't run and eat just a pure diet of bacon, even though I'm designed for that. So my killer list is bacon, weather, and oldness. So that's my killer list. My list killer is to say, well, what am I going to do about the bacon? Okay, I won't eat it all day, every day. I'll just have a little bit a day. Or what am I going to do about the weather? I'm going to make sure I join a gym so I can hit the treadmill. And what I'm going to do about feeling old? Maybe I've got to get a massage or a jacuzzi. I don't know what I need, but I've got to have something that's going to help me. Maybe I need a stretching program. So whatever it is that can derail me, I make sure that I've got something in place that's going to steady me and is going to help me. I'm also going to rate it. So here are the 5 areas of 5 stones that I like to rate things with: knowledge, skill, time required, experience, and effort needed. If I'm writing a book for the first time, my knowledge about how to write a book may be 4 stones. I don't know much about it. My skill may be 4 stones. I've never done it. Time required may be 3 stones because once I start writing, I'm okay. Experience is 5 stones. I've never done it. And effort needed may be 3 stones. So I'm at 3.5 or 4 stones on this goal. It's going to be tough. Now let's say that I'm going to lose 10 pounds in the next month. I've done it. I've got the knowledge. I know how to do it. I've got the skill. I've got the time to do it. I've got the experience, and I know how much effort is needed. That's a 1 stone goal for me. It's super easy to accomplish. Whereas the writing would be totally opposite. In these 90 days, whatever you're focused on, you need to make sure that you rate it according to the level of difficulty. If you need to learn something, go learn it. You need a skill, go get skilled. All right, so we look at this and these stones shift, right? At the end of the first quarter, it should not be the same rating because you know now accurately how much effort's needed. You know now you've got some experience and now you don't just guess, you can predict a little more accurately. So if you decide that you want the entire Launch Your Year program, 5 stones is part of that. It covers milestones, cornerstones, stepping stones, tombstones, and firestones. Number 4 is pursuit. And this is what we're doing every single week. We've got this goal and this focus just for 1 week. And this is what I do on Sunday nights. I get out my little chart. I write down what I'm going to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to contribute to a particular goal. And everything is not equal. Every goal is not equal. The effort required to reach one goal is not the same as the effort required to reach another goal. The number of steps for one goal is not the same as the number of steps for another goal. But let's say that I'm getting in physical shape. So on Monday, I decided I'm going to the gym. I'm going to do legs, back, and biceps. On Tuesday, I'm going to actually run 3 miles. On Wednesday, I'm going to do chest, shoulders, triceps. On Thursday, I'm going to walk 5 miles. And on Friday, I'm going to do a circuit training of whole body. And that's going to conclude my week. So that's all I've really got to write down. I'm not writing down any details yet. I'm just writing down what I need to accomplish and what I need to get done. And then number 5 is pulse. I take this week and then I detail it according to task. What, with, when, and wealth. So my task is my workout. Let's say that it is chest, shoulders, and triceps, and that's the what? Chest, shoulders, triceps. And I'll actually go ahead and write down the workout. I'm going to do 5 sets of bench press, 3 sets of crossover. I may actually put the weights in there, and 3 sets of dumbbells, dumbbell flies. Then I'm going to do some military presses, some side laterals, and then I'm going to also do some push downs and maybe some skull crushers. All right, so that's my little workout. And I put down the number of sets, number of reps. Width, how long is this going to take me? Because I've done this before, I know it's going to take me 42 minutes. I think that we need to be precise once we have our timings down. To not simply say I'm going to write for an hour. If you can write 500 words in 30 minutes, then write for 30 minutes. If it takes you 32 minutes, put down 32 minutes. We need to become precise with our time. And what's going to help you is that inside Launch Your Year is Achieve Productivity. Inside that is the Time Travel Journal, and it's going to help you discover what your fixed time is and what your flow time is. And it's also going to train you to recognize exact timing. Now, I know that I'm a little extreme in this, but I think that it's better to be accurate with time and say, that's going to take me 28 minutes rather than saying I'm going to set aside an hour for that. Because I think that now I'm wasting 32 minutes that I should have scheduled. Because the way that I'm productive, and you don't have to adopt this at all, but the way that I'm productive is that I only schedule a handful of hours a day. I do not load the day. I work all day, but I don't load the whole day. I load like the first 4 hours of my day, and that's it. Like 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. is highly scheduled and structured. And then I respond to a lot of things during the day, and I do a lot of piecemeal during the day. I don't flood my schedule with the important stuff. I do my important stuff first so that by 8 a.m., I can go, you know what? If I don't do anything the rest of the day, it was a great day. It was a productive day. Now, I know everybody can't do that. And some of you are night owls. You may only have 30 minutes a day to really focus or an hour a day to really focus. That's fine. Just schedule that to the nth degree. But do it with what? With width, how long it's going to take, when. Write down when you're going to do that. So with my workout, I'm going to go at 6:30 a.m. That's when I'm going to go do my workout. It's going to take me 42 minutes. Then wealth. What's the end result? How's this helping contribute to the goal? What's going to happen? Well, with this particular workout, I'm going to increase muscle mass, and I'm going to raise my metabolism, and I'm also going to really tap into that desire and that energy and that focus and that momentum to reach this goal. So what, with, when, and wealth? What are you going to do? How long is it going to take? When are you going to do it? Put it in the calendar. And wealth, what's the result? And I'll do that for every major task that I'm working on. Now, each day, I really only have about 3 of these, maybe 4, but usually 3 of these sheets to fill out, and that's it. If I'm in a writing mode, then one of these actions is writing. If I'm in a training mode, obviously one of these actions is training. And then I do this first thing in the morning. So Sunday nights are where I plan the week, and I'll actually fill out very roughly each one of these sheets, very rough. First thing in the morning, I get up and I write down, I use this sheet, I write down my 3-year vision, my 1-year goals, my 90-day obsession, my month target, my weekly sprint, my daily discipline, what I've got to do today. Then I give thanks. I try to remember some things that I'm focused on and thankful for. Then I share thanks. I go and comment on some folks' Facebook or write some thank you notes and put those in the mail or give somebody a text or a call. I don't tend to do that at Ford. They don't tend to like it. The text works out okay sometimes. Motivation, I'll write down one of my favorite phrases. In Firestones with 5 Stones training, Firestone says that you need a saying, a song, or a symbol to keep you motivated. I love sayings. Like I love Zig Ziglar's, you can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. I could write that down every single day and feel really great about it. Earl Nightingale says that we should constantly ask ourselves, how can I improve the value of my service today? How can I improve the value of my service today? So I love that. That's a motivator for me. Then my MVP, most valuable pursuits, purpose, and priorities for this day. What are the top 3 things that I really need to get done? What needs to happen? And this is when I'll write them down in bulk, just very large, and then I'll use the sheet and fill it out in detail. It doesn't take long at all, just 10 or 15 minutes max. And then at the end of the day, I write down the roadblocks. What didn't go the way that I thought it would? What was the hang up? What was the issue? Can I eliminate it? And then I write down the results. What made this a great day? What did I actually accomplish according to the things that I set out to accomplish? Sometimes I'll even rate it with 5 stones, like today was a really great day, or I'll rate it and say, wow, you know what? This wasn't a good day at all. So I'll sometimes get really, really bent out with that. All right, good. Oh, Anita says, do you have any samples of these forms filled out? I don't. I could do that and put it in Launch Your Year. I could do that. I'll do that maybe in the next week and put those in there. But I like to use this every single morning. You can certainly create your own. Create your own, fill this out, make your own. I made this for me. It was based a little bit off of the Miracle Morning. Some of you have read that, the Miracle Morning. And then it was just based off too of Earl Nightingale, just of the challenge of getting up and writing down your goals each morning. So I said, if I was going to get down with pen and paper every single morning, get up and write down some things, what do I need to write down? So you can determine what you need to write down as well. Cool. All right, so we covered the 5 hot principles, how to make sure that you're on purpose to preload your year, what you need to be after you pursue, what you're prioritizing, and what you're going to have pulse-wise, how to plan your week. All right, so when you look at this, you've already got the 90-day journal. If you want these forms, if you want these handouts, then just go to launchyouryear.com. launchyouryear.com, go all the way down to the bottom to check out. It's just $20. You'll get a replay of tonight's presentation. You'll get a replay of this morning's presentation. You'll also get 5 stones goal setting. This is a complete course all on its own, and it covers the milestones, cornerstones, stepping stones, tombstones, and firestones. It's about 2 hours worth of content. You get Achieve Productivity, which really trains you in becoming productive. How to be so acutely aware of your time and how to guard your time so that you use it effectively. If you're a procrastinator, if you don't feel like you're productive, it'll help unbelievably. We also have the Human Time Machine. This is for Mac or PC, and it lives on your machine. It's not part of a membership that, if you're not a member, then it disappears. You use this to time yourself, to set up your day, and to make sure that you even realize how much time that you're using. It's a super cool tool. A lot of folks that are here actually already use it. So pretty good. I think you'll really love it. Carl says, I've already invested the $20. It's worth way more than that. In fact, I expected it to cost a lot more, and I love using the time machine. Awesome. Thank you, Carl. And I did not tell Carl ahead of time to do that. So you get the Human Time Machine, Achieve Productivity, 5 stones, replay of this morning and tonight. You get all of the goal sheets that you already saw, and that's at launchyouryear.com. One more thing, and I'm going to take questions, is all the way at the bottom under the $20 offer, there's another offer that's $20 a month, totally up to you, and it's my Achieve program. It's a private Facebook group where I'm in there every day kind of motivating, posting some things. Every Monday, I post a Post-it note that says, hey, what are you going to do this week? And every Friday, it's Finish It Friday, and you report what you accomplished. So there's accountability in there. And then once a month, I host a webinar training like this where we go deeper. For example, in January, the first week in January, the first full week, we're going to focus on discipline. What's it really take to become a disciplined individual? And I've got a cool model based on that. And that you'll get to learn every single facet of how you move things from being optional into being obligation, how you move things from being in need of fuel to being on fire, and making sure that you're getting it in the right quadrant of the 4 to make sure that you stay disciplined, you stay focused, and you stay on fire. So that's all the way at the bottom of Launch Your Year. So Launch Your Year, you get a replay of tonight. You get all of the forms and the sheets that you saw us use tonight. And you also get those other elements, the 5 stones, Achieve Productivity, Human Time Machine. And then if you want to become part of Achieve, that's all the way at the bottom, and that's $20 a month. But for the $20, you get everything that I mentioned, minus the private Facebook group and minus the additional training. But everything we've done tonight and 5 stones, all of that. Rachel says, how long will this be available? Something I want to recommend to my blog readers. Awesome, Rachel. It's going to be available until noon Central Standard Time on Friday, January the 2nd. Perfect. Kelly said, I just signed up for the monthly membership. Looking forward to making 2015 the best year yet. Thanks for offering this program, Paul. Excited. Thank you, Kelly. I'm excited. Marty says, I also invested in the $20 offer. It looks awesome. I'm excited and will be starting later tonight to learn the time machine. I love it. Awesome. Perfect. Gail says, I've already ordered the 5 stones. I'm super excited about it. I'm wondering if there's an electronic version. I'm in Australia and really keen to get my year underway through 5 stones. Yeah, Gail, when you log in and you get there in the members area, when I say members area, that means you paid your $20. It doesn't mean that you're paying $20 a month. That's only for Achieve Monthly. But you'll enter the members area with your username and your password, and right there besides 5 stones, it says click here to access. Click that link and everything will be right there for you to begin with. Hey, Ray, Platinum Achievers is totally different. It's not even available yet, so don't even worry about it. Paul, how do you deal with variables like the number of clients to schedule each day? I see filling in around them with some sand. Yeah, Dana, I would say, it really depends on you, on how many clients that you want to schedule. You may be a person that likes 3-hour blocks of a scheduled time, or it may be that you want to have a specific time. So I've got some high-end clients that I work with, but they don't have the run of the shop. They can't just call all the time. They can't just be at any beck and call. I may say that from 10 to 11 in the morning, I've got a window, and from 2 to 3 in the afternoon, I've got a window. Now, if I'm doing one-to-one coaching, it's a little bit different. I make sure that they set up a call time. Now, one of my clients that's a 6-figure client, I actually sent an email this morning and said, when can we talk? And I didn't try to shuffle everything. The day was a busy, busy day. So I sent her a link to my call schedule and said, hey, let's not go back and forth with our calendar. If I've got an open time to talk, it'll be on the schedule. Well, the next open time to talk is on Friday, right? So that's how I do that. I try to learn everything through a calendar and through an availability schedule so that I don't get overrun. I don't just simply say yes to everything. Hey, Kathleen. A great question. Are these available as ebooks? No, all of this is training inside the site. I would say that 80% of it is video training, and you watch that and you complete the worksheets. Yep, super good question. Stefan, let me see if I can show the tool. Hold on just a second. You're talking about the human time machine? Let me see here if I can get to that real quick. Oops, that was close. All right, am I still here? Just type yes in the box if I am. I want to make sure. All right, that's good. All right, that's all I needed. Don't keep typing. I'll have 50 people that'll do this. All right, so here we go. Action Generator, Human Time Machine. So here it is. Let's say that I got 45 minutes of book writing, a blog post, a business project. So I come in here, I just click it, and it starts. So I'm really doing 60 minutes on this. But let's say that I get done. I'm finished. I know how long it's going to take me the next time, right? My blog post, let's say I'm going to do that in 15 minutes. The cool thing is that you can come in and practice all these, but I can make these timers run together so that when one's completed, the next one starts. If I want a break in here, I can plan that break. I can be ready for it. So I schedule out my day. So let's say that I want marketing and I want 30 minutes. I click it and it appears over here in my generator. So there you go. Thanks for asking that question. I'd say just play around with it a little bit. Check it out. Sherry says, I just signed up for the $20 offer. I'm super excited about it. But your security application is telling you it has no digital signature. What I do with that is that make sure that you're looking inside your own settings and give it permission, but you don't need to be concerned about downloading it at all. I get that going to like famous sites. That's what's crazy. John says, I'm in the 5 Stones Intensive and would love to share that it is a stunning value. Highly recommended to everyone on the call. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, brother. Oh, good question, Rachel. The less detailed weekly page you showed us, do you fill that out week by week or do you fill it out one at the start of a quarter? I tend to do it week by week, but Rachel, if your wiring is that you want to do it at the start of the quarter, I would do it that way, but I like doing it week by week. Linda says, can you please explain the 90-day obsession? Yeah, for me, now this is my terminology. You can cross it out and put something else because some people don't like the word obsession. But I look at it as for the next 90 days, what am I going to go crazy about? What am I going to be so into and so locked onto that people almost want to get out of my way because I'm a human locomotive? This is the way that I tend to process, or else I will go down in flames. If I don't have that obsessive energy about it, then that's how I get derailed. I've learned this over time, is because I get bored. And when I get bored, I get distracted. And when I get distracted, I get derailed. And then what happens? I get disappointed. I'm like, why'd you quit that? So my obsession, Linda, is something that I'm really, really focused on. Aaliyah says, I will get the forms. Thanks for inspiring me to create some of my own, which works for my goals. Great ideas, Paul. One of the best presented webinars. Thanks loads. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Melissa, yes, the software is Mac compatible. In fact, I'm on a Mac. There's a PC version as well. Gail said, thanks for showing that. I just had an aha moment. Good. Stefan says, can you recommend additional productivity tools? I can't personally because I don't use them. I've just kind of created everything that I use. Some people like to use Evernote. Some people like to use different timers that you can just download online. Some people like to use their Google Calendar set up with a bunch of alarms in it. So that could work out real well for you. Hey, Carrie, go to launchyouryear.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom. Launchyouryear.com all the way down to the bottom. Hey, Anita, it should be coming soon, but if you'll email me, paul@paulbevans.com, I'll make sure that you get the registration confirmation. Weekly accountability, a personal communication with you. Bill, I may offer that later this week in the platform or the Platinum Achievers. But as far as personal communication with me, it is in the Facebook group. We're not getting on the phone one-on-one with the weekly accountability. That will be only in the Facebook group. And then if you show up to the monthly live training, you can ask questions at the live training. Cynthia says it's just what I need. Awesome. Stefan said, thanks a lot. Great job. Just signed up, got immediate access. And then I managed to accidentally close the page. How do I access it? Andrea, go to launchyouryear.com/members. Launchyouryear.com/members. You should still be logged in. Hey, Sherry, inside of launchyouryear.com/members, you're going to see a link right under the main presentation that says Achieve Monthly. Click here, and then on that page will be the Facebook group. Hey, Gail, the recorded webinar is going to be in the members area forever, or at least till we do it next year. Kathleen, I'm not sure what it is in Aussie dollars. I believe that it's more. Cool. All right. That's all the questions. Guys, it's just $20. Launchyouryear.com. You can do $20 one time, or you can do $20 a month if you want the private Facebook group and monthly training. It's super simple. I don't think that this is a hard pressure sale at all. And I think for $20, it's unbelievable. There's a lot of courses that are out there right now that are selling for $150, $200, and $500. And I believe that this is better. And I've had other people who have been part of those courses say that it's better as well. So for $20, I don't think at all there should be any holdback. Go to launchyouryear.com, scroll all the way to the bottom. I am going to send out some reminders, and on Friday, the 2nd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Central Standard Time, it'll be $97. So you've got till Friday to get it for $20. But I will send out a reminder with that. All right, Diane says, good stuff. I can't wait to get started. It's only 24, John said, in Aussie dollars. Fantastic. Sherry, thank you so much. She says, great presentation, awesome information, great value. Rachel says, how can anyone not do this? It's a no-brainer. Awesome. Roll Tide. Anita says, roll Tide. I hear you. We got a big game here in a couple of days. The total is 20, not 40 for everything, Carrie. It's 20 if you decide to do monthly. It's just $20, and that includes everything. And it also will just charge you $20 the next month after that. No brainer for sure, Carl said. Ajax, you can upgrade the subscription later. I can't guarantee you the price. I don't know what that will be, but it'll be cool. Yeah, the lock on the monthly fee is that once you're in at that rate, you won't be raised. Bonnie says, thank you for your time, Paul. As usual, over the top quality. Kathleen, just what I needed. Anita, hands down, this was more valuable. And I private. I won't read that part. Good. Yeah, totally different. It's based on that. And I thought, you know what? I think that we've got to rev this up a little bit and make it a little bit tighter. Cool. Thank you. Thanks, Anita. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks, Mick. Thank you, Terry. All right, guys. Y'all have a great night. I'm going to send out a reminder about this. Just go to launchyouryear.com. Scroll to the bottom. $20. Get access to everything. No reason to delay. No reason to question. There's nothing hidden. There's not going to be an upsell. There's nothing crazy going on. Launchyouryear.com right now.